Well, it used to be the police officers that respond first to the beach, but now it's going to be the lifeguards with the ocean rescue team. New at 6, Valentine's Day is a holiday meant to show appreciation. Chocolates, flowers. It's also a day to look back at relationships fueled by love. Two couples from the Grand Strand with more than 130 years put together say the key is compassion. Good evening. Thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Ashley Gooden. It's been a soggy Sunday across our area. The question on everyone's mind tonight, will this week be a washout too? Trash can with icicles dripping off of it, and that is not the only weird thing I've seen out here. Take a look at this. We've got a bunch of birds literally chilling in the Atlantic Ocean. Luckily, we haven't seen any people trying to do that, but if we did have people that were trying to go out there into the ocean, they would be going home with sand on their feet because these are not working. Everything is completely frozen. St. Patrick's Day is over, and it looks like not everyone had the luck of the Irish. Despite a pretty heavy police presence, quite a few people found themselves in trouble. And just to take one more look into Castaways, you can actually see the floor again. And I spoke with several business owners today who say they do have flood insurance. They're planning to file those claims as soon as possible. The award for this year's coolest and cutest duo, you may have thought it was Kevin and I, but it is these guys. Turn your volume up. Apparently, two emperor penguins in Antarctica stumbled across a camera left in the ice by expeditioner Eddie Gault. The Rush property is much different than it was yesterday. There are trees snapped in half, some of them uprooted like this one, and baby toys scattered all across the property, and they don't have a baby. But there's one thing that is the same. The family is still alive and well, and they say they have God to thank for that. The Darlington County community is still coming together to help a family in need. It's been a month since a single vehicle crash killed 5 people, including 2 unborn children. Let me show you this. I was digging around and found a South Carolina shaped piece of frozen sand, which is really interesting. I might bring this back to you, Summer. I know you tweeted me and asked me for one of these great souvenirs. A Surfside Beach woman has been assembling gift bags for the homeless for several decades, and today she shared her passion of helping others with high school students. ABC 15's Madeline Montgomery shows us why Beth Coleman believes kindness is the greatest gift. He stayed there with the family that night, and he says the victim is doing well. He also says that he's hoping more police officers will help take away some of the violence that's plaguing Horry County. Live in Conway, Ashley Gooden, ABC 15 News.
When it all happened, I didn't think it was going to make it.
On a Sunday, Cassie Martin was doing some usual housework. Her 1-year-old son Bentley and his older brother were playing in the next room.
Within a minute or two, I realized, they were quieter than usual, because usually they're in my mom's pots and pans. And I went and we saw him in the pool. It didn't look good. Cassie's stepfather performed CPR until EMS arrived on scene.
The child was very cold, unresponsive, and having difficulty breathing.
He was taken to McLeod-Loris Hospital, flown to McLeod Hospital in Florence, and days later, the miracle the Martin family had been waiting for finally came.
It was home eating Cheetos, running around the living room is what we were told right after that. So, hearing that news, we decided to do a get-together just a few days before Christmas.
For the first time, these heroes got a chance to see a patient they fought so hard to save.
Never seen anybody that I've flown as a patient after the fact, so this is super amazing. It's emotional for us. I have a child that's about 2 weeks younger than he is, and so it hit home for me.
Bentley may not be old enough to understand what he's been through, but his family will now have a new tradition this time of year, full of pictures, videos, and the gift of a Christmas miracle to tell him all about.
Thought it was going to be the worst one I ever had in my life, but it turned out to be the best one. That's the best Thanksgiving I've ever had, right there at that hospital with him. But he is truly a blessing. I'm just so glad that he's here with us for Christmas.
At Fire Station 15, Ashley Gooden, ABC 15 News.
I didn't think the water was going to come this high. It's about halfway up of what Matthew did, but Matthew kind of came in quick and left. But
that was at the Harbor Walk, just off of Front Street. As the floodwaters rose, so did the number of cups and buckets needed to get it out of buildings.
It's flooded the last 2 Octobers, and now the only problem we have is the front door.
And through the front door, it kept coming like an unwanted house guest.
And the wind blowing through the bay has pushed a little extra water up here.
Next door, a different story. Castaways Bar and Grill employees say today's flooding was far worse than Hurricane Matthew.
We had to cut everything out, so we'll probably lose a lot of food, a lot of our beer products, so it's going to be pretty devastating.
That's what we heard from person after person today. They had no idea it would be like this.
When the storm started turning west, we said, well, we'll probably get a lot of wind and rain, but not the flooding like this. So what we did is basically, like every place in town, just put sandbags and a tarp.
But all those sandbags were no match. The water didn't come through the front or back doors, but through the floors of the restaurant that sits on top of the bay. So until the water recedes, there's not much left for them to do.